we can identify the age group between 5 to 11 and 12 to 14. They get mainly their salaries or their income daily because of they work after the school time due to the compulsory compulsory attendance of the education. But when we consider the age group between 15 to 17, they get their income in monthly basis, because most of children in that group we can identify they drop out the school after the O-level examination, and they fully engage with the working activities. As well as when you go to the next slide, you can identify how they utilize their income according to their age group, especially the children in between 15 to 14, 5 to 14 age group. They spend their money on their families. That is, they give their money for the family, and as well as sometimes they collect those money to spend or to buy their school items. But when you consider the age group between 15 to 17, they spend more money to buy their daily needs. And as well as when you consider the time periods according to their age group, we can identify the age group between 15 to 17. They engage with the work activities all the day, especially during the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. But when you consider the other two groups, they engage their working activities after their school time. As well as when you compare the child labor and non-child labor socio-economic status, at that point we can identify what are the reasons for being child labor using this descriptive analysis. Especially when you consider the income level of the families, we can identify the low-income families. The children in the low-income families are more vulnerable to be a child labor, especially the people who less than 15,000, or the monthly income is less than 15,000. They are more vulnerable to be a child labor. As well as when we consider the education level of the household, the education level of the household also was one of the important factors to determine the child labor activities. Especially in here, you can see the people who, the household heads education level. If you see the household heads education level, the people the education level below grade 5 and between grade 6 to 10 are more vulnerable to become a child labor. Therefore, the household head education level is one of the important factors to determine the child labor activity. On the other hand, when we consider the satisfaction of families' infrastructure, that's also one of the reasons for child labor activities, especially the children who disagree with the infrastructure facilities within the household, also more vulnerable to be a child labor. As well as when you consider the attitudes of the education of the household, especially when there is low attitudes regarding the education, they are more open to become a child labor. As well as when you consider the employment status of the household head, that's also one of the reasons to determine the child labor activities, especially the people, the household heads who deal with self-employment activities. We can see their children are more vulnerable to become a child labor. As well as the number of family members are also very important determinant. When the number of family members are increased, it also affects to be a child labor. The second analyze this binary regression model. Earlier also I mentioned this is a statistical approach. So using the binary regression analysis, finally I identified three variables that affect to determine the child labor. Especially one thing is education level of the household, as well as the level of income and attributes of the education. So those are the major variables that I found in the under the binary regression method, especially when you consider the education level of the household. The children has more possibility, that is 36 times possibility to be a child labor with the household head's education level is below 5 than the household head's education level is past advanced level and above. As well as when you consider the education level of household head in between 6 to 10th grade, it will the possibility time is 30 times than the household head's education level is more than A level. And also when you consider the income levels also, one of the important factors to determine the child labor activity. So next I move to my conclusion part. So when you consider based on descriptive analysis and binary regression analysis, we can identify mainly the low income level and low lack of facilities in the household. Also one of the important factors to determine the child labor activities, as well as education level and employment status of the households, also negative impact on the child labor, and also the number of family members also important determinants of the child labor. So when you consider the suggestions or recommendations regarding based on my findings, especially when you consider Sri Lankan context, the governments assign different rules and regulations, and they formulate different rules and regulations to avoid this situation. However, we cannot avoid the child labor issue only with rules and regulations, because especially when you consider my findings, we can identify low income and low facilities in the household is one of the reasons to determine the child labor. Therefore, we should improve the local economy, that is, we should empower the people, as well as we should increase the awareness of the attitudes regarding the education of the children, as well as we should develop the vocational and technical education for the children who drop out the school after O-level, as well as we should restructure and enforcing laws to avoid the child labor issue. So those are the major references that I used to develop my study.